Hey guys, across our state and nation, people are rising up for Black lives and racial justice. For Black women, ending reproductive oppression and realizing reproductive justice demands that they control their own bodies and live and thrive in a safe, healthy community. At the Afia Center, they fight for investment in Black women and families, access to abortion, and freedom from state violence. These are acts of resistance for liberation. So learn more at theafiacenter.org/liberation. That is the Afia, AFIYA center.org/liberation, paid for by the Afia Center. Go get some knowledge and let's move on.
Hey y'all, Who We Are is a powerful new podcast produced by Vox Creative that chronicles the history of racism in America. It's based on ACLU Deputy Legal Director Jeffrey Robinson's acclaimed work, Who We Are, and it breaks down the origins and ongoing impact of white supremacy on our elections, healthcare, economy, and so much more. When people are talking about systemic racism, that is exactly how this factors in. So listen and subscribe to Who We Are, a chronicle of racism in America on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Go check it out. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey guys, thank you for coming back to our program here, our podcast. I am George Freeman, Hippolyta's husband.
And I am Monica Roberts. This is The Read.
Thank you for joining us either again or for the first time. Mm-hmm. As usual, as tradition for the past nearly 8 years. Just strap yourself in and get ready for some Black foolishness.
Jesus Christ.
That's what we've got.
It is 8 years almost. God damn. Okay.
Think about it.
I mean, we swore it wouldn't be more than like 1 or 2, and here we are.
I figured, as long as it wasn't crack, I was here and it wasn't crack. So why not?
So we could be doing worse. That's right.
So let us begin with the usual. Black excellence this week goes to 18-year-old Quentin Byfield, who has recently become, the highest drafted NHL player in history as a Black man.
You don't hear a lot of that.
He's 18. He's from Ontario, I believe. He played for the Ontario Hockey League before. And it says here on Because of Them Weekend, he has scored one. Actually, I knew this because I absorb sports and I'm very knowledgeable on the subject of sportation. Mm-hmm. So he scored 143 points with a plus 38 rating in 109 regular season games in his 2 seasons with the Ontario Hockey League, which means that he actually scored 3 more points than 140 and 1 less season game than 110. And he also plays hockey. So there's the information. But yes, he was drafted to the Los Angeles Kings, first black player to be drafted that high in the history of the National Hockey League, which is what the NHL stands for. I hope.
Yes.
So congratulations to him for being a badass, a superstar athlete, and for encouraging young Black men, in the same sort of passion or lane that he is in, and is, passing on the fact that you can be a badass in pretty much anything. And I loved seeing the little clip of him, all of them announcing the draft and him celebrating with his family in the, I guess their living room, because, everything is still virtual.
Right.
But, congratulations, young man. good Shred Ice and the Mighty Ducks.
Because I cannot help with hockey at all.
Watch out for that cocaine and them white women. You know, it's on everything in moderation. That's what I'm saying, Quentin.
Right.
It's Los Angeles. Okay, so let's go to our hot tops this week. This is a segment that is called Hot Tops, Scary Bottoms to Top in the Dark. And we just have a couple of things.
Okay, I can't wait.
Whoopi Goldberg says that Sister Act 3 is in the works. It's official.
Oh, Lord.
She was speaking on the Late Late Show with James Corden, who is the white man that be in a car with all the famous people and they sing. And Michelle Obama has done it. And Adele. So,
oh, yeah, a lot of people.
Yes. Anyways, she basically was talking to him about a number of things. And one of those things is the fact that, you know, the industry works where, you know, reboots happen when white people are certain enough that they're going to make their money back tenfold.
Right.
That's essentially what this was. She said for a long time, nobody, you know, really seemed to be interested in it, or people were telling her that nobody wanted to see it. As of late, however, it seems like interest for Sister Act 3 has, you know, become more and more discussed. I'm not sure if that's because of, I think the Sister Act movies are on Disney Plus.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I have watched them on Disney Plus. Pretty sure.
I'm not sure, but either way, I'm pretty certain that, you know, if any of y'all are like what I imagine I would be as a parent, you know, your baby has seen Sister Act and Sister Act 2 no less than 24 times. And it's because you're supposed to raise your children right. And that means that they should be ingesting the fantastic situations that took place in the 80s and 90s. You know, the Sister Act films, the original Lion King, TLC. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So it looks like this is a thing that's happening. Sister Act 3. It just says here that they're discussing it. So it sounds like it's a go, but they're trying to figure out, you know, the pre-production processes, i.e., what is the movie?
Yeah.
Who's coming back that we can afford? How can we shoot it? Blase, blase, blah. I'm down as long as we're not about to see Sister Mary Clarence pluck some child from OnlyFans and turn them into a nun, and then said nun teaches the convent, the lyrics to WAP and not to bang or whatever. You know, like...
I hate you.
All of these 15, 20 plus year old reboots are just about the star of that movie passing it down to somebody that's younger than them, who then does the same shit that they did in the original movie. Yeah. And like, I'd rather not, but I'll probably be there anyway. No word on whether or not Lauryn Hill has been invited. I'm sure if anything, they texted her about it in 2018, so she would respond now that people are actually talking about it.
Hate you.
But we'll see. And that's what I've got.
Well, I'm actually not mad at this because it's not a reboot. It's just a continuation of the series. Yeah. So what I'm hoping is that they bring back as many of the nuns as they can. I'm sure some of them have passed away, but as many as they can. Definitely, obviously need Whoopi, and we need her like to do the same thing she did in the other two, which is to come in and rescue these people and then go back to her shit, you know, like that's what I want to see. I was watching Sister Act 2 actually like a few weeks ago, and I thought about how much I would love to see a modern version of it with internet and cell phones and apps and kids doing all kinds of, like, I would love to see that. So I'm actually cautiously optimistic for this. Same. And I hope they do a great job on it because it could be really good. Sister Act is one of the few movies where the sequel is better than the original, to me. I
Same.
prefer 2
I
to
agree.
1. And
Me
so,
as well.
you know, I could see them also being like, look, we knocked it out of the park with the first one. And then your girl had a fucking world tour with the second one. So,
Yeah.
you know, do we even really want to risk it? But hell, at this point, why not?
And the first one is still really, really
It
good.
is. The first one is good, but the second one is phenomenal.
It made $231 million at the global box office, that first one. It was apparently one of the most financially successful comedies of the 90s. I'm definitely down for another one as well. And we'll see however they cook it up. But honestly, as far as like returning actors, if I get Whoopi and Kathy Najimy, I'm fine. Like, and that's no shade to anybody else that was in any of those other movies, you know, Jennifer Lewis, but like, that's it for me. If anybody else was like, I don't want to come, I'm good. Oh, I'm afraid of the Rona, I'll understand. But the Sister Act 3, I would really love at least Whoopi and Kathy Najimy.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that same thing, that they would probably be the 2 biggest concerns as far as budget is concerned. I really don't see the point of Lauryn Hill coming back unless she's the mother of one of the kids at the school or something like that.
Right.
But, you know, she was just a student like the rest of them, and she was a good singer, but it wasn't. The movie is about Whoopi's character, so.
Lauryn Hill could honestly just show up for like the closing song as a cute 5-minute cameo.
That would be nice.
You know,
or she
that
could
would
be
be
a judge at well, no, they can't do another singing competition, but you know, a cameo or something like that would be cute too.
Don't say they can't, because you know that they will.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm just saying we've done the singing competition, but I mean, the thing is that the nuns sing, right? Like that was their thing. So something singing that they'll audition for one of these America's Got Talent or something. Who knows?
Well, look out for that, guys. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they've definitely at the very least got a ticket and some cautious optimism for me.
Oh yeah, I'm watching it regardless.
The fiance of J. Jeezy Jenkins, J. Jeannie Jenkins.
All right.
Apparently made some headlines recently when she talked about how excited she is to submit to her man, Young Jeezy.
Oh, Christ.
In their impending marriage. Apparently she was on Entertainment Tonight where she spoke about this. Of course, this led to a lot of the girls saying, excuse me, what? Submission? What is this? Fucking 1715? So J. Jeannie Jenkins called into Tamron Hall's program last Thursday, where she decided to, you know, try to clarify some things. She said, well, for me, submit does not mean that you are lower or less important than your man. Of course, Jay and I respect each other very equally. What I mean is, in my work life, in my actual life, I own my businesses, I run my team, I make all of the decisions, and I lead entirely in the outside of my life. She then went on to basically say that for these reasons, she wants for her husband to take hold of the reins when it comes to their dreams, her dreams, and incorporating all of their wishes into a unified vision. I also didn't, 100% grasp onto this. I see your face. I wasn't like, 100% there in understanding.
Right.
But I have heard of people, women included, saying, oh, well, I'm such a boss bitch in these streets anyway. I just want for my significant other to like drive the boat, so to speak, when it comes to the home. She said that she's 41, which I didn't know she was that old. And not that it's old, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But being 41, she don't give a fuck what y'all always got to say about it. Basically, I'm paraphrasing at this point, and that she's found the love of her life and agape love, and I don't know, whatever. Oh. So
agape love.
There you go.
So yeah, the thing about it is, I feel like submit is the wrong word here.
Yes.
I feel like that's not what submission means. If you want your man to be able to run the household without you holding his hand, then you just want a grown up. So I feel like that's what you were trying to say, but also I deeply do not care what you girls do in your marriage. And if you want to call it submission, and if you actually want to submit, if you actually want to leave all the decisions, the final decision of things up to your man because he is a man, I don't actually care. You can do whatever you want to do in the confines of your relationship. I just think she used the wrong word.
I agree with all of this. I literally, when I read this earlier, I was like, maybe submit wasn't the exact word to use in this context or whatever, even though I understand why people jump to that word when they mean what she's talking about. But at the same time, I also agree that, like, girl, if you want to submit to your husband, your wife, whoever the fuck in your relationship, then that's fine. And also, there are people who fully have actual sub-dom relationships, and those are the kicks that they get on Route 66.
Oh, again, well, that's a different...
I don't believe,
but still,
I don't believe the future Mrs. Jenkins meant that specifically. However, have a ball, hun. Do what you've got to do, and whatever makes you feel validated and solid in the home. I'm really interested in Thanksgiving and Christmas. I want to know what Jay Genie is bringing. I want to know, the kitchen dynamic for her and Jeezy's mom and probably aunt's sister. I don't know if he has sisters. So that's what I'm interested in. Let's get a real exclusive on what that Thanksgiving Christmas dinner energy is giving.
That might be on his talk show. Little clips from the house.
That's true.
With the wifey and the mom. Who knows?
It's worth a conversation. That's the name of the show.
You're so good.
Which premieres this week, apparently. So go and check out that. And see.
Yeah, I wish y'all all the happiness. That shit is not for me. But, there was a point, like, a long time ago where I thought I wanted to submit to somebody in a marriage too. So you can feel however you want to feel, and you can also change your mind.
Well, one of the members of Pretty Ricky might be going to the pokey after scamming the country out of some Rona money.
No.
Allegedly.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's Pretty Ricky's baby Blue. AKA Diamond Smith. He's apparently arrested and charged with a few things: bank fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud and bank fraud. And all of this linked to him allegedly using falsified documents to obtain 6-figure loans from the Paycheck Protection Program for his company. His company's Blue Star Records and throwbackjersey.com. Jesus, alive today.
Oh, wow.
So,
what?
He allegedly used these funds to buy a $96,000 Ferrari, among other luxury goods. And the scamming didn't stop there. There's apparently also at least 11 defendants who are caught up in this COVID relief fraud scheme. It's apparently reached over $24 million in damages. So,
oh my God.
Baby Blue was photographed in his Sunday best on Instagram, where he left the comment.
Of course he did.
He left the caption. His caption says, "Wish me luck seeing the judge in 30 minutes."
You're not shit for this.
It's the fact that in his outfit and then with like his stature, he looks like one of the elves that work at Gringotts. Or like he looks like
oh my God. Oh, I just found it and he does.
He looks like Danny DeVito in Batman Returns.
I've seen worse court outfits than this, but yeah.
Stout and round.
God bless him. That just must be nerve-wracking. But sir, I don't know what you thought it was.
He left a comment on the Shade Room report and said, "Had a good first day in court, facing life in prison, but hashtag I'm innocent. Everything ain't always what it seems. Baby Blue Whoa." With 3 A's, says via Twitter. So
This is bad because you know the feds don't press charges for nothing. Like they have they shit together when they do that. I feel like that's the thing everybody knows about the feds, and so
bye, girl.
This coming, you probably not going to get life in prison, but
maybe not.
Justice.gov has all of it laid right out, and this is actually really fucking maddening because so many businesses actually needed that money to stay afloat and didn't get it because you niggas wanted to buy cars and shit.
I said the same thing.
So, like, whereas I would normally, I don't know, kind of laugh this off, I'm really more irritated than anything because, like, and I felt the same way about Kanye. Like, actual like businesses who really needed to keep their payroll afloat and really needed to just get through a few months of slow sales and low business, and like y'all took that money from those people who then had to close their businesses, and it affected all their employees and their kids, and it was just a massive ripple effect. And so
you took that fucking money to buy a fucking Ferrari, bitch, niggas. So you could flaunt on Instagram, nigga. Like, I hate y'all. Like, I was like, ordinarily I would just be like, well, fuck the system because, girl, all you crackers are stealing too. So, period. And what? What's up? See you guys at motherfucking, I've been away from Miami so long, I done forgot the name of that motherfucking place on Ocean Drive.
Oh,
Wet
God.
Willie's. Wet Willie's is overrated anyway. See you girls on the beach.
Fun time. Yeah, if you're on
for
the beach.
Appetizers and liquor. I don't give a fuck about nobody scamming this government. But at the same time, exactly like what you said that's what I felt. Like people, like that money was legitimately for people that needed it or should have been.
Right, because white people stole it too. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There was already like numerous white people openly stealing that goddamn money and probably going to buy yachts and whatever dumb shit with it too. So I was like not about to just be like, oh, well, whatever. Like, nigga, you haven't, I don't know what the fuck Pretty Ricky funds are looking like right now, but I'm sure, again, you weren't going to be hurting for that money as much as other people who actually needed that shit, especially if you're going to go buy cars and, Gucci belts or whatever the fuck with it, moron.
Oh my God, this says the feds seized the Ferrari when they arrested him.
They sure did. They sure did. Bitch, I bet you that motherfucking car was in the truck before they cuffed him. They had that shit on the U-Haul, bitch.
They picked up the truck before they picked up him. Like, you actually got us fully fucked up, my nigga.
They were probably chucking the bricks out of his home as they were walking him to the police vehicle. Like, bitch, we're tearing this whole shit down. What the fuck did you think?
This is just... It's a sad situation. This is a lot of niggas listed here who are involved in it. And, I'm sure this is going to be rough for y'all, but I don't know why you thought you could get away with the shit white people get away with. It don't work like that for us.
It just doesn't.
Sad to say. Wish you could, but it doesn't work like that.
Well, one Cynthia Bailey is apparently a married woman again.
Yep.
Was she married before? Did she marry Leon?
Yeah, she married Uncle Ben.
Oh, she was married to Uncle Ben. Okay. So she married him to her boo, Mike Hill. They had a wedding I think it was in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Why wouldn't it be in Atlanta? Who cares? They got married.
Or LA, one or the other.
But before the nuptials, scandalous, steaming headlines were plastered all over page 6.
Of course.
Because reports say that some freaky deaky shit happened at the Bailey Bachelorette gathering. That's right. They say that the girls had a bachelorette party featuring a hot, sexy, sweating stripper who may have had sexual intercourse with 2 of the cast members.
A male stripper?
Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yeah, they say one of the niggas who came in to strip at Cynthia's bachelorette party ended up fucking 2 of the girls from the show. That was the initial rumor.
Okay.
I'll read it to you. On page 6, it says, a source who witnessed the bash exclusively told us that some of the women began hooking up with each other in the living room of the house they were staying in Charleston, South Carolina. There were about 9 or 10 guests total invited to the party. There were multiple people that had girl-on-girl A source said, adding that the hookups went beyond making out to oral sex in some instances. Quote, they were so drunk. Unquote. Or is it unquote or is it end quote?
I actually don't know. I think it's end quote, but don't quote me.
I know that I have Googled the answer to that question no less than 5 times in my life. So I don't know why it won't just stay in my brain somewhere.
That's just how it is.
Anyway, so the girls say that some stripper nigga came to Cynthia Bailey's bachelor party and the girls got buck wild and drunk and they were in there, you know, chomping on minge and getting fucked and doing whatever the fuck else. And so from being 2, you know, mystery cast members on the show, right, it then went on to being allegedly Portia Williams, who's apparently newly single, and one Tanya Sam, who's apparently engaged to some other nigga from, I don't know. And yeah, so they said Portia and Tanya were in there having a menage a trois with the Atlanta stripper nigga, and everything got all buck wild before the wedding.
I mean, I'm sure Andy Cohen had a team down there to record it. I'm sure that we're going to see this on the next season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Right?
At any moment, one of these women is going to have a pap smear and find a camera up there that they didn't know about. You know, like at any moment. You know, so sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like closed circuit cameras all over that house, wherever they had the Bachelorette. Just
so they were filming.
Yeah, just whatever happened. So, I mean, I'm not particularly scandalized by this. You hoes want to eat each other's pussy or fuck a stripper. I mean, male strippers are just... I have never seen the appeal personally, but if that's what
I would
y'all
like
want
to
do,
say,
go for it.
As a young man that is attracted to men, in 90% of cases, me neither.
See, nobody is into it. Everybody wants to see women stripping. Nobody is really into
different.
This.
I don't want to see somebody with the fucking Rock's body dancing like Sierra in 2004.
Yes.
I don't.
And maybe it was just all the cheap college parties I was at, but I just got tired of them niggas getting some strawberries and squeezing that damn Hershey syrup all over their chest and them corny ass moves and shit that they do. It's just like, I'm not into this.
But we love you, and
I mean, yeah, get your money.
Yeah,
nobody should feel ashamed. I just can't wait to find out, who exactly was it? Was it Portia hooking up with whoever Tanya is? Like, I'm interested in that, but I don't consider any of it to be like wrong or messy or nasty.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Who the fuck cares? Anyhow, the stripper in question, the alleged stripper in question, Michael Boulware, took to Instagram where he said nothing happened. And he said he's not a stripper, he's the stripper. So we can be leveled with where he's coming from as far as confidence is concerned.
Stripper with a big ego.
But he said nothing happened. He doesn't need any unnecessary mileage on his dick. And then he left everyone with a smile. So,
I
didn't believe anything actually happened even before stripper confessions, because personally, I asked myself, all right, why would any of these women get fucked by a stripper when Andy Cohen extremely certainly has no less than 6 cameras on each of them? Why? Especially if one of you's engaged. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And it completely sounded to me like Bravo and Andy Cohen, or whoever one of Andy Cohen's lackeys are or might be, went and whispered to someone, oh yeah, girl, they was at the bachelorette party and it was all eating box, and then the stripper came in and then he just started fucking all of them, and Cynthia jumped in too, and then they brought out the Ouija board and they summoned in Satan.
Lord.
And girl, like this to me fully just sounds like pre-promotion for the next season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And they literally do this with all of them shows any fucking way. So
yeah, that's a good point. I actually didn't even think of it that deeply. Like, why wouldn't you? Because I just figure, bitches get drunk. But these girls have been on reality TV long enough to probably know how to adjust their behavior when they're around the cameras regardless, or when they know they're filming. So going like as far 28. Out as to have sex with a stranger is probably a lot, but we shall see, I'm sure, on the next season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Because it's like, we shall see. I guess we'll see what happens, which means you already looking out for whenever the Real Housewives of Atlanta come back so you can get the tea. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's not. You did. Even if they did want to fuck that stripper, or they did fuck that stripper, why would they do it there in front of cameras if they didn't want it to be known?
Right.
When they could easily get fucked. Like, why?
Easily just take that nigga's number and be like, I'm going to call you when I get back to Dunwoody. And that's that. Or wherever. Niggas in Atlanta stay in a whole bunch of towns around Atlanta as well. I'm just throwing a town out there. Just don't do this.
Okay, so what's next? Looks like things with Cardi B and Offset might be back on the up and up. Girlfriends,
please.
Guy friends, squirrel friends. Apparently, after Cardi B announced that she was filing for a divorce from her baby father, she started chiming in on Twitter in defense of him when the girl started dragging 1/3 of Migos here. She said on Twitter in a deleted tweet, "He a dumbass, not a bad man," which I just love.
I liked it. Yeah, that was a great tweet. He is a dumbass.
Like, Cardi, where's the merch? Like, you need to have dumbass, not a bad man masks, dungarees, socks,
all that shit,
contact lenses. Like,
leave me alone.
Because that's so many niggas. Anyhow,
it is. It's most.
She said, "I don't give a fuck if you don't like him. I don't talk to him, but you're not going to disrespect my child father. I will slap the shit out of you in courtesy of culture. If he died, go broke. You not the one that's going to raise my kid, and you not the one who pays for her shit." Cardi's birthday was also just a few days ago. She had a big extravagant party with filters and things of that nature I saw on Instagram.
Filters.
But since then, she also received a special birthday billboard courtesy of Offset. Shining, mostly pink billboard that says, "Happy birthday, mommy. Love culture" with a K. And both of them looking too expensive to have a conversation with anybody.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Just lavish, sickening, premium young women. Oh, I didn't even see this part. Cardi actually posted the billboard and said, "Thank you, sir. I love it," with the little cheeky emojis in between. He apparently also got her a Rolls Royce for her birthday, which he gifted her at the party, where she was visibly drunk, surrounded by a bunch of niggas with cameras. Like,
she was so fucked
Mama
up.
was like, "Listen, at any point it could be the end. I'm getting fucked up.
Yeah,
let's do it."
Especially when you got all them niggas at a party. It really could be the end at any moment. I mean, so many niggas. Zero mask.
Cardi had 12 bundles in her head and was like, "I don't give a fuck about none of y'all bitches." Like, pass the Cavassier.
Yeah, she was wasted. I saw a video of her saying that she ain't ate pussy in a long time, but she gonna eat some tonight.
I saw that same photograph.
You were turned up, sis.
I believe that may have been the pre-gaming hour.
Oh, yeah.
I also saw her vibing to Trina during that program.
Oh, yep.
I saw her walking her pussy out to some Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes, same.
Like, Cardi B got her natural ass life for her birthday this past week.
Well, the ass settled, actually. And so it looks good. The ass looks
It does.
Good. It has settled in very
It's
nicely.
sitting in an organic manner.
Yeah. You have to give things time to rest and arrange themselves. But she looks
I'm patient.
Good. So, I hope she had a good birthday. I cannot condone the party, just like I can't condone Cynthia's wedding. But you niggas are going to do whatever you want to do. And I'm just glad she had a good time. That picture of her in Culture with the matching Birkins, too fucking adorable. So
Great stuff.
As always, I would like to be left out of it. Like, if you gonna not divorce this nigga, then just please don't tell us you gonna divorce this nigga. Like, I just don't. I don't want to be part of the back and forth. Why I don't?
I'm feeling like Cardi possibly was like, okay, I'm gonna go get me some goodbye dick. Just one more dose, and then
that's how they get caught up.
That's gonna be the end of it.
Okay,
just one more dose of that dick, and then I'm going about my business. And the next thing you know, this nigga bought you a car, and he's throwing it back and making out at your birthday party, and he's right back in there.
And he missed that girl too. He was going through it without her. Some of them videos he posted on Instagram was looking deeply, deeply sad. So,
I mean, because fucking niggas don't, it's not like they don't understand that they're with someone that they should, you know, respect and actually treat with, you know what I'm saying, the decency that they deserve. They're well aware of that. But then there's, you know, nigga. And, you know, the power and the strength of the Illuminigga. You can't be in the Illuminigga and report to Future without your dues and your quota. You know what I mean? You have to be fucking these hoes raw.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I guess so. So, as long as she's
have to
happy,
be made.
Yeah, as long as Culture has her things and Cardi is pleased, then it's fine.
That young lady, that baby, that literal baby is going to be spoiled out of, you know, the wazoo. She's going to be like, exactly. She's already got no less than 6 Birkins and like nothing but designer.
Period.
So
all of it, every single, down to the socks. Culture is very expensive. So
I'm sure both of her parents love her down and take great care of her.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that they're, you know, meant to be with one another. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a healthy relationship, you know, together. You might just have a better situation co-parenting.
Yeah.
But, you know, some people gotta learn that the hard way, or the hard and the long way, because I think she already learned it the hard way.
I mean, that's true. It would be funny if she was like, I mean, thanks for the birthday dick and the billboard and the car. They were really cute, but, you know, gonna keep those proceedings rolling. I would actually kiki at that quite a bit if it was like in a few months. Well, and the divorce is finalized. But, you know, that's her baby dad. No, that's her husband at this point. So
when I tell you that I would drive that Rolls Royce back to my house with him in the passenger seat, park in the driveway and call him an Uber, thank you so much for the gift, as well as the gift of my child.
Yeah.
It says your Uber is 2 minutes away. So,
and it was
great night.
Nice too. That car had like a custom Culture car seat in it. Did you see that? The car seat had her name all engraved in it. I'm like, this is some very rich shit.
He was surrounded by a bunch of niggas who was chanting like, "Take him back, take off, back,
yeah,
take off." And she's just, you know, grinning and swaying from side to side because she's completely wasted and whatever the fuck.
Right.
And apparently they all had a good time together. Hopefully everybody tests negative.
Yeah.
But anyways,
hopefully,
you know, good luck, Cardi. You know, I'm on your side.
Yeah,
I'm on your
I'm
team.
team Culture.
I'm team Culture as well.
Always.
Also, good. You have a good time. Last but not least, Tory Lanez has been charged. He's been charged with 1 felony count of assault with a semi-automatic firearm and 1 count of carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, which I believe he was already being charged with. He's also facing a gun allegation and personally inflicted great bodily injury. This is, of course, connected to the situation with Megan Thee Stallion being shot in her foot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's official. The doll could be looking at a maximum sentence of 22 years.
I love it.
And 8 months in state prison. And he's meant to be arraigned sometime this week. Today, maybe, if you're listening to the day the podcast goes up.
Huh.
So I guess you can look out for more information and drama for this. Of course, it always happens the day the show comes out.
Always does.
But Yeah, this is what we're looking at. And as I've said before, get her out of here. The only Tory that I acknowledge is Amos. Beat it. I wish him nothing but the worst. And real hot girl shit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the exact same way. I was thrilled when I heard this news. I literally let out a cheer because even though these are not, I mean, not necessarily the charges I would have wanted, like assault is, I don't know. It just doesn't have the attempted murder ring to it that I wanted to see happen to this young man.
Okay.
But I guess, I also don't really know how the law works and how judges and lawyers come to whatever they decide to charge with niggas. So I'll just say that I'm happy that something is happening, even though Megan didn't cooperate with the police after the shooting first happened. Because I actually fully thought that since she told them that it wasn't him and blah, 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 that just nothing was going to happen and he was going to get away with it completely. I also highly doubt he sees anything close to 22 years. But, just deportation is good enough. Well, I wouldn't say good enough, but I would love to see some deportation in there. Take your ass back to Canada. We have enough trash down here. We don't need no more. So carry your ass back up north and leave us alone forever. You may not return. That's all I want.
He since has tweeted,
oh no.
I guess this is supposed to mean time will tell, but with emojis. Fucking loser.
I hate
Okay.
niggas.
And the truth will come to the light, he says. I have all faith in God to show that. Love to all my fans and people that have stayed true to me and know my heart. A charge is not a conviction. If you have supported me or Meg through this, I genuinely appreciate you.
What?
This nigga said, thank you. This nigga said, if you supported me or Meg through this, I genuinely appreciate you. So for me, at this point, the question is he a new sociopath? Is this something that has been like a long running thing for him? Because Mama's off the rails and I'm lost. I don't know what to make of this.
Right. If you support me or if you've supported either one of us, it's like y'all are on the two opposite sides here, though. So
right,
this just sounds like I'm very guilty, but I'm gonna say some things to try to make it seem like I'm not. Like, it kind of sounds like that baby boy blue nigga's Instagram post or whatever that shit was that he said
that
about
nigga said,
God
I'm
in
facing
charge.
life in prison, but I'm innocent.
Right. Like, okay. All right. And I will let you have that and believe that if you so desire, but don't look for me to be hashtagging in your honor. Because that won't be happening. For neither one of y'all, actually, but especially not Tory. Boy, I want that nigga gone. Back to Ottawa with your ass. Or wherever he's from.
Oh, don't do that. He's from Brampton.
Oh, like you know where Branson is.
I don't.
It might be in Ottawa, for all you know.
It might. I actually have no idea. I sincerely don't know.
I don't know either, but yeah, fuck that nigga.
Yeah, absolutely, fuck him. I don't know. He also posted some heartfelt Instagram scroll that was dedicated to his son that was like, I strive to be a role model to you or whatever. Girl,
what?
Whoever is working in public relations for Tory Lanez, quit. Yeah. File some... Put some applications out in the world. Jump on maybe a ZipRecruiter. I don't know what help you could get, but bitch, find work. Find work elsewhere.
You could be going
because
somewhere
first of all, bitch, what y'all should have done if you had any goddamn sense, or if you tested the temperature in the motherfucking room, well, you should have told this bitch rather than being like, oh, well, I didn't shoot her and maybe she didn't get shot at all. What she should have actually been was like, you know what? I am the absolute worst kind of nigga. I'm a disgrace to my kind and I will stop at nothing. Seriously, if that song would have been, I am going to stop at nothing, but, nothing but making a better man of myself and being, you know, a better asset to my community and protector of my, you know what I mean? If he would have said like all of that stuff, he would have still been read to bits and deserved it. Mm-hmm. But it would have probably, I feel like, been a better PR angle than being like, let's just say the bitch lying. Like, right. What? That doesn't even make any fucking sense, you moron.
But niggas can't take accountability at all. Like, he cannot take responsibility. He cannot say he was wrong, because then he would be admitting that he actually did something wrong. So of course he's not going to do that. Of course he's not going to do the mature or responsible thing, because Tory Lanez is not a mature or responsible person.
So
we all know that you did this, nigga. We all know that you did this. You put out a whole fucking album. It's just... Leave.
Let's put out a song asking this woman how she could have been shot in the first place, but then post a tweet talking about if you supported her, I genuinely appreciate
the math
you.
Ain't math.
But you just put out a diss record and said that she's lying on you.
So which one is it, dumb bitch?
I just want his fucking pound puppy face ass. Yeah. Just get him out.
Go back home.
What the fuck?
Go back home. Canada. Come get y'all shit.
Supply us.
Tory Lanez. What's a Tory Lanez song? Is it Don't? Or that's Bryson Tiller? Ooh.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even gonna lie.
Bryson Tiller has a song called Don't. Don't.
Sing it.
Don't play with a don't be dishonest.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a Tory Lanez song, so... But say it.
Oh yes, a song like all of Tory Lanez's songs that largely consists of a fucking sample from the 90s or the 80s or some shit
Brownstone
that he ruined with his fucking high-pitched nasally ass auto-tuned fuckery. And I'm not even gonna say that Tory Lanez is wholly untalented or whatever, because I don't know that to be true or whatever. But what I will say is that if he does go back to wherever the fuck he's from and doesn't put out any more songs, I'll be just fine knowing that the radio and the motherfucking streaming websites are not now inundated with a whole bunch of motherfucking brownstone samples and motherfucking crisscross and all that other goddamn shit, bitch. You motherfucking remixing songs from Bootsy Collins or whoever the fuck, bitch. Goodbye. We don't need you. Good riddance. Get lost.
Yes, all that shit. Don't let the dough hit you.
That's it for the hot tops this week. We're going to take a break and then we're going to come back and read your letters. So listen, guys, when money is tight, investing in yourself may not be top of your mind, but mental health is incredibly necessary. And it's not just a luxury. I think Mental Health Awareness Day or something was just a day or so ago too. So taking care of yourself doesn't have to break the bank, but you should be doing it anyway. Investing in your mental health has long-term benefits, and with Talkspace, it can actually be affordable. Talkspace is online therapy that lets you connect with a licensed therapist for a fraction of the price of in-person therapy. Match with your perfect therapist from the comfort of your devices and reach out 24/7 whether something is on your mind or, you just want to shoot the breeze. The Talkspace network is composed of thousands of licensed therapists who have experience in over 40 specialties, including but not limited to treating depression, substance abuse, relationship issues, and more. And from your letters,
so all of the above. Of that going on. Yes. The black ass bottom line is that everybody needs somebody to talk to, and Talkspace wants to give us the support we deserve at a price that more people can actually afford. As a listener of this podcast, you get $100 off your first month on Talkspace. So to match with your perfect therapist, go to Talkspace.com or download the app and make sure to use the code READ to get $100 off your very first month. Again, code READ at Talkspace.com or download the Talkspace app. Can't say enough how much I love it. All right, let's get back to the show.
Well, folks, we are back. It is now time for your listener letters.
Yes, send your questions to asktheread@gmail.com. We may read them aloud on the show. We have 2 updates this week. One is from Ashley, who had been fighting with her brother and was worried about how to handle it with the holidays coming up.
Yep.
So Ashley said, "Thank you guys so much for the advice. When you said if I was really at peace with my decision, I would not care what my brother said or did, I realized I needed to revisit the situation. I sent my brother an email and CC'd my parents and my fiance. way. I reminded him that this didn't come out of nowhere because he's tried to punch and grab me in past arguments, and that I will ignore him at family functions because I'm not faking shit with him anymore. What helped cement my resolve is putting his behavior in a different context. If a boyfriend did those type of things to his girlfriend, or if a man did that to a coworker, that man would be in jail. After I sent my brother that email, I felt the child in me cry happy tears. I finally stuck up for that little girl who I neglected for so many years in an effort to keep the peace. I feel free and relieved right now, but I am also looking for a therapist. This is my first time unpacking and letting go of a toxic family relationship. And much like grief, I know everyone handles it differently, and I definitely need a therapist in my corner. I would not disagree, Ashley, but I am so glad that you stuck up for yourself and made your boundaries clear, and that should make things a lot easier for you when the holidays come around.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm really glad to hear that, because your brother was tripping and being like a brat.
Yeah, a 40-year-old brat. So
a 40-year-old brat, yes.
And we also got an update from Dion, if you remember Dion, which I hope that was his fake name, but he had the friend who started a podcast, but the friend talked exactly like you, and he didn't know how to tell him. And we warned him that his friend would listen to the show and recognize it. Yeah. So
I'm not surprised there's an update.
First thing was, well, I got the text.
I bet.
He put it in the group chat, though, and did not send it to me directly. He said that he needed that input, but admitted that he would not have been receptive if I came to him with it directly. The only part that he was mad about is that whoever, quote unquote, wrote the letter didn't put the name of his show for publicity. Okay.
That is brilliant.
Oh God, I just want you to know I would not have said it even if you had put it. So please, Dion's friend, don't hold that against him.
That is so funny. Okay. They're like, bitch, at least you could have said the motherfucking name of the podcast, bitch.
Bitches,
this is why you are so fake. Bitch, I always knew you was a hater.
Yeah, so I hope y'all's friendship manages to bounce back. But I think like y'all be fine. Yeah, I've been looking through some very old text messages lately, like 10, 11, 12 years old, and I have had some crazy conversations and sometimes full out arguments or fights via text message with my friends who are still like my closest friends to this day. So yeah, it does happen, you know, so, but hopefully y'all will be just fine. Let's move on to the letters. This first one comes from Trisha, who says, I could use your advice on a family issue that has been a long time coming. My older sister and I have parents who have been divorced since I was a baby. Our relationship with our dad has always been strained because he cheated on our mother with one of her best friends and then married the best friend. He adopted her 2 children, and they had one together as well. Our dad was never there for us because he chose to take care of his new family instead of spending more time with us. My stepmother, who died 2 years ago, was the ultimate evil bitch, always making sure their daughter and her 2 kids were spoiled rotten and got everything we didn't. To this day, our half-sister acts like a total bitch, and we have nothing to do with her. Our father died last Saturday after years of bad health and suffering from dementia. We just found out that our half-sister had our dad sign a will last year, leaving his house to her 2 oldest daughters. Our father had 5 kids altogether and 8 grandchildren, yet she manipulated him into signing his house over to her kids. I really don't want anything from my dad, but the principle of the situation just pisses me off. Our half-sister decided to make all these huge funeral arrangements and expected us to pay for his funeral. We told her, hell no, we're in the middle of a pandemic and there is no way we need to have a big-ass service. We had a memorial service for him 3 days after he died. He is being cremated and his ashes are to be buried in a couple of weeks. During the memorial service, our dad's 3 children from his second marriage all gave a eulogy, but my sister and I were not even asked to say or do anything, and I believe my half-sister purposely left us out. We were so pissed that we left as soon as it was over and didn't say goodbye to anyone. We are burying my dad's ashes soon, and my sister and I plan on this being the very last time we ever have to see or deal with our half-sister. Do y'all think we should just give our own eulogy for our father then? Should we tell this bitch how selfish she is? This relationship with our stepbrother and sister are fine, but we are not really close to them. I know at funerals you're supposed to be civil out of respect for the dead, but the way she has handled everything is pure bullshit. What do y'all think? Thanks, Trisha.
This is awful.
It is.
It's like so bad. It's really like, and it's like, it's also a testament to like this, like moments or situations where sometimes family, close loved ones, etc., they can just leave you with some shit to figure out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like
real mess.
Anyhow, I feel like if it were me, I would possibly say something at the burial or whatever if I felt like it would be helpful for me. If I felt like, you know, it was something that I needed to do for myself, then I would make a way to do that, because you have the right as this man's child to do that. I think that for myself, my sanity and the sanity of the family I give a fuck about, I would try to do everything I could to stay away from confrontation with the other siblings or members of the family that I don't see eye to eye with or that are doing shady shit. Because you asking me to pay for the funeral but not asking me to say anything, you got me 360 degrees fucked up.
That's correct.
Like all the way and back lost, bitch. So, you know what I'm saying?
Completely.
But again, it's a really fucked up, difficult, often traumatic situation for everyone. And I would probably just try to get through at least the ceremonial parts of this passing. Just keeping my distance and doing whatever I got to do to refrain from confrontation of any kind. And again, me personally, I feel like afterwards I would just dead it and just try to have nothing to do with them. Mm-hmm. But I also think it would be completely okay if you were, after it was said and done, to say to them like, look, I have something I need to get off my chest. We need to have this conversation, and not even necessarily go into it expecting to come out with understanding and hands held and, you know, hearts in the sky.
Oh yeah, none of that.
But just so that you can get it off of your spirit. But yeah, just like as of right now, I think I would just keep my distance, not say anything, and do whatever I have to do to address my grief, my coping, whatever kind of emotional, mental, spiritual health you need to for yourself, because they tripping. And again, a lot of that could have probably been quelled if your father would have done a better job of like managing it.
Yes.
He is not here. So again, you got to do the best you can for yourself.
Right. A lot of this is your father's fault and your stepmother's fault, but you know, them niggas are both dead. So
yeah,
there's only so much you can really do. I feel like I don't know. This is hard for me because as somebody who had a strained relationship with her father until she completely ended it altogether, if that nigga died, I wouldn't go to whatever they had for him. So I feel like I would just kind of be like, you know, you chose to take care of this family over us like we never existed anyway. So if you gave your house to her kids, then of course you did, because you always felt like those kids were more important than me and my sister were. So, you know,
right.
Fuck the entirety of the thing. But I also agree with Kid Fury that it is like, that is a much more mature response to like let out your feelings. And definitely you should do that at the burial. Like you and your sister should have y'all's time to say whatever you want to your father before the ashes are buried and all
Absolutely.
that. And if you want to keep it cute because, you know, you want to respect the sanctity of whatever the burial ground is, then I completely respect that. But I am always here for getting bitches together.
Come on.
And feelings,
I was gonna say it.
Feelings be coming up, and they be doing a lot around funerals and burials and all that. And if she pushes you, now I'm not saying start nothing, but if the bitch push you, push back. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I would not hesitate to get into a verbal fight with somebody if they chose to get into one with me. I'm not going to do too much because I have shit to lose, but don't fucking try me. So,
and everybody in this situation has lost someone, regardless of what the nature of your relationship may have been.
True.
Y'all are all gathered together in this situation because you lost someone. You know what I mean? So there's no reason, especially if, y'all are all this man's kids. You're not going to make me feel as if any of us have priority over one another in terms of dealing with our grief, closure, understanding, or whatever that may be. So it would be best for you to chill the fuck out and me to chill the fuck out, so that we can get this whole thing over with and move along. Not even just for me and for you. For me and for you, and for everybody else who is here trying to just get out whatever their feelings are in the, the midst of this man's passing. But I totally agree. Totally agree. If you're going to push, girl, I can as well. And at the end of the day...
Try me.
At the end of the day right now, your priority needs to be your mental health, your spiritual, emotional health, all of those things, and having being in the best status within that you possibly can be in. Mm-hmm. And so you don't need to feel any sort of obligation towards your siblings, towards your daddy ashes, towards anybody. Facts. Mm-hmm. Just you have to put yourself in a situation where you can come out of the other side of this with understanding and the strength to keep your shit fucking pushing. Fuck all of that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you can work that shit out in therapy. So I would absolutely say go into it with the best intentions possible. Mm-hmm. But like Crystal said, if them niggas want to push, girl, I can push back as well. Because at the end of the day, I'm here really on GP.
And just don't fucking try me, girl. This is, you already got the house and whatever else. You actually got the daddy. So why don't you just let us say whatever we feel about this, me and my sister that I grew up with, and then you never have to look at that bitch, think about her, or speak her name ever again. So I suggest you and your sister go and say what you have to say and then get the hell on out. And I wish you the best in the grieving process, because I know it's rough. All right. Yes. Next question comes from Miranda, who says, I met my friend Sheila 5 years ago when I became a business client of hers. We would spend half our meetings just talking like girlfriends and eventually started going out for happy hour. She mentioned that she wasn't really happy in her marriage and told me how horrible her husband Philip is. By the next year, she was talking to other men, and I suggested she go to therapy with her husband or leave him before she cheats. Eventually, though, I met Philip and their 2 kids, and I started to realize that Sheila is the problem. He was wonderful, but she was constantly berating him for the smallest things and snipping at the kids who were only 4 and 6 at the time. Philip and Sheila took me out for my birthday last year, and afterwards he asked her if he should walk me to my car since I was parked much further than they were, and he came alive when he wasn't around her. We laughed and joked and even discussed the book we'd both been reading. I was starting to see how terrible Sheila had become. She cheated the last 2 years of their marriage and left him during the holidays last year. By that time, he and I had been sending each other book and movie recommendations and funny memes. He'd done a couple of odd jobs for my new house, and I'd send him home with some of whatever I was cooking. We were friends. We were friends, and I liked him better than her.
I bet.
In May, Philip started to realize that he and Sheila are not going to get back together. Around that same time, I was having real problems with the racial climate since I'm a surveyor, and work put me smack dab in the middle of Trump country all spring and summer. Philip was doing work on his house and invited me to come smash some walls because it's good for getting anger out. It was fun, and there was a spark between us.
Oh.
Since then, we've been hanging out, which I've only mentioned twice to her in case pictures show up on social media, but she says she does not care. For my birthday, he surprised me with a picnic with my favorite foods he made from scratch and my favorite wine. He was my date to a socially distant destination wedding last week. We had the best time, and now we've slept together.
Yeah.
Figured. When do I tell Sheila that something is happening between me and her husband? He says it's none of her business, but she still thinks I'm one of her best friends, even though she's never been one of mine. She invites me to family stuff as a buffer between her and him, and it's incredibly awkward. I don't think it's fair to her that I'm still hearing both sides of every one of their arguments, and I rarely think she's right, but I still smile in her face. He and I barely talk about her anymore, but she bitches to me constantly about him, but still, I don't want her to find out about this from someone else. They're still technically married. Of course, they technically are. They're both starting to hate each other, and the divorce is getting messy. What do I do? Please help, Miranda.
Child. Girl,
the
what?
shit y'all be going through, man. I cannot relate. How do you tell your friend that you're fucking her husband?
As soon as possible, ideally. Wow. Well, I think that what was the last portion of this?
So he is still having her. I mean, not he. She is still, she being Sheila, the married wife.
Yeah.
So she's still having Miranda come to family stuff to like serve as a buffer between the two of them. And it's super awkward for her. And, you know, she's feel like she's being two-faced and smiling in this girl's face when she really don't like her and she's fucking her man. So she does not know.
Wait. Okay. So let me rewind the taste. Okay. She said that she said to the girl, like, oh, me and Mans are hanging out.
Yeah.
And Mama didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But she hasn't admitted to the penetration.
She has not told Sheila that the penetration is happening. No, Sheila does not know that part.
Girl, just go ahead, rip the fucking Band-Aid off, I say.
Yeah.
And just say to this woman, so hey, been hanging out with them. One thing led to the next. Sicily 1920, picture it. And, you know, here we are today. I think you should just go. Because, I mean, what does holding on to that information serve? Like, what does that do for you? You know what I mean? At this point, she is, and I don't know, when she said, you know, I'd rather she hear it from me than somebody else, I'm like, well, who else? Because I honestly don't believe that nigga is gonna say anything. So who else knows?
Right.
Because if somebody else does have the possibility or the knowledge available to tell her, says you need to text her now. Like,
don't
just go ahead and hit her.
And
just be like, sweetheart, we need to have a chat and let her know whatever's going on. Because honestly, maybe she won't care about that either.
I mean, that is a good point. She left that nigga last winter and is not thinking about him in a romantic sense. So it's very possible that she won't care, but
I don't feel like the nature of your friendship is going to be the same. You know what I mean?
Definitely
she might not.
Definitely not.
About me saying, you know, she might not care, I mean, I feel like she might not want to fight you.
Yes, she may not be violent.
Right, but don't be surprised if you don't get the group text for, you know, girls' night or whatever. Yeah,
I actually think you and this nigga both should sit down and tell her what this is. I don't think it should just be you, since the both of you are doing this. I won't say to her, but like, she is the reason y'all know each other. So I think the two of you should do it, just so it's not all on you. But if you're looking for a way to say this that will guarantee that she won't be mad or she won't have a bad reaction, there's no such thing. Y'all have made the grown decision to fuck, even though that's your friend, and they're married. She is married. And so it's messy in a lot of different ways. And you just gonna have to stand up in your mess and be like, this is what we did.
Absolutely.
And we really like each other. You probably saying you in love with this man at this point. And so if that's, I cannot say I think that any of it is a good idea. But if you feel that strongly about it and he feels the same way, then both of y'all need to stand up in it. And just say it. Say that you did it and you're not sorry, and be prepared to lose a friend and maybe to have something thrown at you.
Possibly.
But it sounds like you really don't like her anyway. So maybe y'all needed to not be friends no more, period.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like whatever introduction to the inner workings of their relationship made you team not her. And team this nigga. So I think that Crystal's correct. Definitely go ahead and have that conversation and see however that might work out.
Yeah, because you are being very fake, coming to their house for family stuff and smiling in her face like you not fucking her man or seeing her man. That is very fake. And actually, that is some shit that if she wanted to beat your ass for, I could not find fault with her for that. So the sooner y'all are honest about it, I think the better. And at the very least, it should help your conscience.
There's no real way to dress this information that's going to make it any less, scalding.
Right.
It's kind of like, I don't know, like poop in a sandwich. There's poop in there.
Just don't.
You could put all the lettuce and tomatoes and
bacon,
mustard, whatever.
Everything, and I don't want it. Because it's a shit sandwich. Yeah, there's no mahogany car for this, so you're just going to have to tell the truth and be grown-ups about it. And good luck to y'all.
Good luck.
I hope nobody catches a charge. All right.
Yeah,
last question comes from Brandy, who says, I've recently been seeing a man I met on Hinge. We started talking in August.
The fuck is Hinge?
Hinge is a dating app. You never heard of it?
Sounds like a dating app for crazy people.
Oh, wow. I mean, perhaps, but... We started talking in August and met in person in September. Initially, I had my doubts about him for some reason, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I continued to see him and have sex with him, but I kept my options open. We started hanging out more, having fun together, and I was really starting to like him. He also said that he was falling for me and really liked me too. He then started to kind of pressure me about having sex without a condom, and at first I was like, hell no. Because even though he said those nice things and his behavior was pretty consistent, we weren't exclusive, and I didn't know who else he was seeing or having sex with. I eventually gave in, though, because I'm dumb and I really, really liked him. Fast forward to this past weekend. I spent the night at his house on Wednesday because he let me know that he was going on a trip over the weekend and I wanted to see him before he left. He left Friday morning, but I didn't hear from him all day Friday or at all on Saturday morning and afternoon. Around 8:40 p.m., I FaceTimed him, and this man answered the phone, looked me dead in my eyes, and then hung up.
I'm just going to be laughing.
I didn't trip because I figured his cell phone reception was absolutely horrible in the mountains, so I called back.
Oh, no. Why did you do that?
He didn't answer the phone, but he texted me and said, I can't talk right now, honey, so then I started tripping. I texted back, why?
Girl.
And I got no answer. I kept pressing.
Of course he didn't.
And I said, have fun fucking that bitch you with, yada, yada, yada.
Ma'am!
He finally texted me back and said, look, we made these plans months ago before I even met you, so you need to chill. And if you can't chill, I completely understand. So of course, I'm super pissed.
What in the future?
Because this is so niggerish. Because he could have been upfront with me and let me know who he was going on the trip with so I could decide if I wanted to deal with that or not. I'm also pissed because I'm having raw sex with this nigga and it would have been nice to know if he was having sex with other people. And because after he got caught up, he didn't apologize or show 1 ounce of compassion toward how I felt about the situation. I got drunk later that night and spazzed all the way out on him. So at this point, I'm pretty sure he is never going to speak to me again.
Okay, yeah.
My question is, was I wrong? We did just meet, and he did have the trip planned a while ago. Should I have just chilled out and continued seeing him? Thanks, Brandy.
So do you think it was Offset, Takeoff, or Quavo? I looked it up. It says Hinge is a dating app founded by Justin something. In 2012, Hinge bills itself as a relationship app and claims to emphasize more long-term connections between users. It also says the app has a Your Turn feature designed to remind a user to continue a conversation. This feature was designed with the intention of decreasing ghosting.
Wow.
Which explains so much about this letter for me. In 2019, U.S. presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg revealed that he met his husband on Hinge.
Oh, shit.
Work, booty judge.
Okay.
So listen.
I'm not mad.
Calm down, sweetie. You know, I think that you met this nigga on an app. Enjoy the time that you had. You know what I'm saying? And sort of pick at it as time goes by while you both decide if it's a meal that you actually want to eat. You know, that's kind of how things are going, especially right now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It doesn't really make any sense at the moment for you to be blacking out on a nigga through an app or whatever because he's got another date or another situation planned with someone that he was talking to before you or in the midst of you or whatever. Like, fuck these niggas. Don't even give them the satisfaction of feeling like they're that much of a priority. Why? Get back on the Hinge app and swipe left or double tap or whatever the fuck you do on that app. And like, keep it the fuck moving. And when he's available again for a continuation of whatever y'all started, then you go and you kick it. If not, whatever, other fish in the fucking sea. Forget about it. But, you know what I'm saying? Chasing these niggas into the goddamn ground. Like, even if he was to be like, you know what? You are so right. I had a great time with you. And I'm about to leave this situation with this bitch right now. And I'm about to come with you and we'll spend the weekend together. You'll still discover that he's trash for some other goddamn reason 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7 months down the line. Where your feelings are even deeper in and more complicated. And now, you know, you just want to just choke him or whatever. So
I agree. Any man who is pressuring you to have raw sex within a month of y'all fucking,
I mean, come on,
does not really, really like you. He is not falling for you or any other shit that niggas might say. And even the fact that he is on an app where it says, you know, like long-term dating, people who want to find a real relationship or make a real connection, niggas will lie for pussy. They will lie and they will say any lie to get some pussy.
Will do.
And then, and then raw pussy on top of that, of course. So I don't think you were, wrong, no, because you were mad about the situation and you're allowed to be mad. I just think you should have maybe taken these red flags a little more seriously. And I think you'll probably do that in the future. The next time you meet a man on an app and he wants to have raw sex after 3 weeks, I think you're going to, you know, think twice about it. So I just think you have a couple of lessons here that need to be learned. Yeah. But no, you should not have just chilled out and continued seeing him if that bothered you. Like, you don't have to just put up with shit because you think that's how relationships work or that's how dating works or whatever. If you're mad that nigga was fucking somebody else and also fucking you raw and did not tell you that, then you have every right to be mad at that. You also should have asked. I'm not sure if you asked outright and he lied to you or if you just... Doesn't sound like it. Right. Or if you just assumed. But like I said, there's multiple lessons to be learned here. I think... go ahead and block this man's number and his Instagram or whatever else and get back or reactivate your Hinge and look for the next one. This man is just not the one. If he really had all these deep feelings for you, like he said, he would at the bare minimum told you that he was seeing somebody else and already had a weekend getaway planned. Or he would have told you about it and then canceled it. Like, there would not have been the deception here. So...
But also just understand and respect the dynamics of dating, whether on an app or not. These niggas, like Crystal said, are going to say all kinds of things or whatever the fuck it is. That's clearly what you want to hear. Actions got to speak louder than words in these situations. So let a nigga say whatever the fuck into your ear and smile and giggle about it. But at the same time, buy what he's actually showing, not what he's saying.
Yes.
And aside from that, just understand, okay, I'm dating, I'm kicking it with somebody that I met on an app or met wherever the fuck, and things are nice, but like, he's not owing you anything unless you have some sort of a legal agreement as to whatever the nature of your relationship is. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be going out here and meeting nobody, double tapping it or whatever, and then listing all these expectations alongside of a nigga because he said that he really likes you and he's ready to settle down or whatever. Like, every nigga says that to somebody every motherfucking day. Come on, don't play a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that we're like, when you date, you have to realize that men will flat out fucking
lie to you.
But,
yes.
It is just a sad fact that we have all had a story somewhat similar to this. We've all had feelings for somebody who was lying to us about it, or most of us. So, you're not alone in this. I don't want you to feel ashamed of it. You just learn your lessons and
y'all lie too.
Be
but
that's
that's a different
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, you just and remember that anybody who gets mad at you because you don't want to fuck raw after a month is not somebody who has your best interests in mind.
That should be just a good old goodbye ticket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do not collect $200.
Exactly. So, good luck to you, little sis, with your moving on and your dating prospects. That is going to wrap up the questions this week. If you have one, send it to asktheread@gmail.com. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. At a time when so many important conversations are happening, your voice is more essential than ever. So explore classes to unlock your creativity for social good. Skillshare offers creative classes designed for real life and all the circumstances that come with it. So you can join in there and, learn all kinds of dope new stuff that you can then take into the world and advance yourself in your processes with. These lessons can help you stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce you to a community of millions. Most classes are under 60 minutes with short lessons to fit any schedule. Members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. It's also affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. So join in and go and learn something new.
That's right. Next up for me on Skillshare is a class called iPad Illustration, which is basically teaching me how to use this iPad and this fancy pencil that I bought to draw pictures, which I'm
doing the same thing.
See, listen, it's like little things like that where you like, this would be fun. Like, this would be a fun thing to learn, or this would be a fun hobby to pass the time because I am stuck indoors because of the global pandemic. You can try it out too. Explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/thereadpod. And the first 1,000 people to use our link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. That's right. Receive free access to thousands of classes for a limited time. Be one of the first 1,000 to signed up at Skillshare.com/thereadpod. That's the READPOD. Go learn something new. All right, let's get back to the show.
We are back. It is time for the read.
It is.
I have just a couple things.
Same. So
first things first. Florida, my God.
What did Florida do?
What did Florida not fucking do?
What did Florida do this time? I'm sorry.
So, reports out of Orlando about a young man named Nevin Baker, 22 years old. He was found dead hanging from a tree in Barker Park. Orlando Police Department and the medical examiner's office, of course, are ruling this as suicide. Family and close friends to this young man obviously do not believe it. Yes. Nevin's mom, Sharona James, apparently requested photos, videos of the scene from the night of her son's death. She requested these stuff from the Orlando Police Department, but hasn't been given any of that, at least from the time of this post I'm reading from the Orlando Sentinel on the 9th. The Orlando police tweeted, "We have seen social media posts regarding a man who was found deceased in Barker Park. This is a tragic case of suicide, and it is difficult for investigators to discuss details publicly out of respect to the victim's privacy and that of his family. Officers have exhausted all leads. At this time, there is no evidence of foul play or any kind of physical struggle. The medical examiner also investigated and ruled the cause of death as suicide. Our detectives continue to support the victim's family where they can. We are keeping the victim, his family, and friends in our thoughts during this difficult time." So I'm curious as to how your detectives are continuing to support the victim's family, but she's saying that you're not giving her any of the resources that she's requested for further information on her son's death. I don't know how many more times like black bodies need to be found hanging from a tree somewhere in this country that y'all deem suicide before we're like, yeah, right. Cool. Let's do an actual investigation and find out what actually happened.
Right.
What fucking self-aware, seemingly self-aware black person is going to a fucking public park to hang themselves from a tree in a form of suicide? Why? For what? Not to mention, again, according from what I read here, his mother says that when she went to see his body at the morgue, that he had like a misaligned jaw, that like there were like bumps or something on his forehead, swelling on his nose, other things that don't sound like they would have anything to do with a hanging. But here we are again talking about, and it's just been like a number of these things I feel like have happened over in even just the past year. And every time it's like, oh yeah, it's a suicide, according to whatever police department from that local area. I don't buy the shit. Florida, you already know that like the whole globe at this point knows what type of bullshit y'all be on. I'm not fucking buying it. I'm glad to hear that the family, specifically the mom in this case, doesn't plan on taking her heel off of the necks of the people in Orlando, specifically the police department, as it, you know, pertains to this case. But like, y'all really don't think Negroes are out here getting lynched right now? Y'all really don't think as many white supremacists and fucking paramilitary losers that Mango Mussolini has, you know, just dick jacked in a number of rallies and places. He's constantly empowering people that would do this kind of shit. I don't understand how many more times we have to look at these kinds of cases and really just buy whatever bullshit y'all send our way. In many situations, I believe it's the police that do it.
I mean, I would.
That's
not
what
be
I
shocked.
believe.
Them niggas are murderers, so.
But anyway, I just wanted to say, Florida, once again, deep throat the dick you look like. I'm so fucking tired of the whole place. I really am. And while I'm on the subject, for the Latinos, for Trump, from South Florida especially, I know that the doll had a rally out there recently, I think in Orlando. I just want to remind y'all for a quick second, the Latinos for Trump, is that you kind of just, you trade your soul and your vote for like a white privilege simulator that really, I don't think you realize, only exists in mid and South Florida. Like, yes, it's Miami especially is so Cuban run that so many Cubans and, you know, like Latin people in that city can feel incredibly empowered in all of their bigotry, their hatred, their conservative views, their racism, et cetera, because it's set up for them to feel and operate like white people all over this country. Sweetie, I want you to drive up to the Panhandle, cross the border into Georgia, cross the border into places like Louisiana, and see how much, you know, that Latinos for Trump shit gets you with some of the white folks out there outside of just mid and South Florida, West Palm Beach, Broward, wherever the fuck. Because honey, the Republicans don't give a fuck about you. All that caterwauling and yelling and screaming and shit that you doing at this motherfucking idiot's shows. Like, you're giving him the vote. In return, he comes and lies to you. And that's all that it is. So shut your fucking glizzy gobbler when you're talking about whatever the fuck is going on with brown skin and black skin. Lastly, I just wanted to say...
This face.
Don't be the girl who looks to folks who are in a new romantic / sexual relationship that's like, oh, you know, back in the day, me and so used to have a time. God. Like, okay, I didn't think that they were a virgin when I met them. I assumed that they had some sort of a sexual relationship with someone else. So what is it that we're discussing? Oh, but you know, they used to be such a hoe. Back in the day, they was just running through everything. Yes, there was a hoe. Me too, bitch. Welcome. Great. And honey, in order for you to know that they were so much of a hoe, it's a good chance that you were a hoe yourself, dear. So that makes a ho, ho, ho. Merry fucking Christmas. Why are we talking? Don't be that girl. Don't be that girl. Let people enjoy themselves in whatever their situations are and the exchanging of genitals.
Yeah.
For the record, this is not something that's personally happening with me right now before y'all start assuming shit. It was on my spirit. I felt like mentioning it because nobody wants to be that lame girl. Last but not least, white women who are pissed at Bill Burr, get a life, get a job.
That shit was hilarious.
I don't really know what y'all expected. Maybe a lot of y'all who were angry probably had never heard of him before or whatever. And I'm not like some over the moon ass fan. I think he's funny. I don't agree with everything he says or like all of his jokes, but
I mean, he's a white man, so how could
he really dunked on white men in his in the part that they were pissed off by. He really dunked on men more than just the women. But what he was saying about like the woke movement or whatever wasn't even accurate in a lot of it anyway. So it was just like, girl, like, whatever. I definitely got a little bit of glee out of that situation, but at the same time, I was like, what? Girl, shut the fuck up. Sit down.
I mean, like, I did find it funny, but I just also found it very funny that white women were so offended when he was calling them to task for siding with white men. That's why I was like, y'all are acting like he's not clowning himself and his people at the same time. Like, he's saying we was in the trenches doing the racist shit together. So let's not front like y'all wasn't there with us.
Said y'all were shooting with them in the gym. That's
so I don't know how you mad at that. That's
was what
facts.
the joke was.
Y'all really did do that.
Like, so many members of your bloodline sat aside watching your men do unspeakable, gruesome, terrible things. So
yeah,
shut up, but whatever. I don't know. I guess.
I mean, it was funny to me. I'm glad he said it. And I'm glad he said it where he said it on SNL. And I like that a white man said it because black people say shit like that all the time.
I didn't even think it was funny. I just like the fact that he said it. And I really like the fact that it made white people mad.
Well, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't really have a read this week. I just have a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, if you've seen the #EndSARS campaign going around social media, I found out about this over the weekend, and it first and foremost broke my heart. So SARS stands for Special Anti-Robbery Squad. It is a unit of the Nigerian police force, and this unit has apparently been, because Special Anti-Robbery Squad sounds good, like anti-robbery. Who can be mad at that? But it, of course, like most things to do with the police, turns into profiling and targeting people, young people, and all the things I've read says that these kids have been targeted for any number of things. Having clothes that are new, having a phone, having a computer, basic things, that would not be grounds by themselves for, arresting somebody, much less the shit that these people have been doing, like beating, waterboarding, like smothering them with plastic bags, all kind of sexual violence, all kinds of shit going on. So I think Amnesty International documented 82 cases between January 2017 and this past May, which is already a lot. But if that was 82 documented, then God only knows how many actually took place. Because we all know that the number of incidences of somebody doing wrong is almost never the same as the number that's actually reported. And so people have been protesting in the streets against this police violence and against this specific police violence, talking about the corruption of the Nigerian police force. Apparently they were ranked the worst in the world, which kind of blows my mind because how are you worse than America? But I have also heard countless stories from Nigerians themselves who say, girl, you got to be careful because them niggas, don't let them pull you over on the wrong road or at the wrong time of day, because if you don't have no money, you better find some money because they taking something, money, passport, something. And even on 90 Day Fiance, it was that situation. I don't know if you saw that episode. You probably didn't. But the Nigerian guy, Michael, was taking his white Trump supporter fiance, Angela, away from the airport. And I think they got pulled over by the Nigerian police and he had to pay a bribe. I think. I might have that wrong. But anyway, so many young Nigerian people have been in the streets protesting against this torture and saying a lot of the things that we say in our anti-police brutality movements. Like, reform is not good enough because y'all been promising to reform for years and years and years, and yet y'all continue to beat our asses. And you can say all you want to, oh, we're going to dissolve SARS and it won't be like that anymore. But until things actually change, then I don't think they should take their foots off y'all's necks, and I am in complete support. I suggest that you follow the story yourself by checking out the hashtag #InSARS on Instagram and Twitter, probably also on Facebook. But read these local accounts, donate to organizations that are helping protesters who have been jailed. Some of the images and videos are very graphic, so I will warn you about that now. But get involved however you can, because police brutality is a problem globally, and anywhere that Black people are being mistreated, I'm gonna have a problem with it. So I also wanted to say very quickly, rest in peace to Monica Roberts, who ran a blog called Transgrio. Transgrio was, I think, the first blog specifically about trans people that I had ever heard of. Says here that she founded it in 2006. And what I know for a fact is that she used it not just to talk about issues that affect the trans community and trans related stories, but also really helped shape the way that mainstream media in America reports trans people's deaths and murders and attackings and things of that nature, because not too long ago, and probably still in some localities, they're still doing this, but they were very disrespectful when reporting on trans people being found dead or something like that, calling trans women men in women's dresses or referring to them by their birth name instead of their chosen name, all kinds of terrible things. And Monica Roberts really took her blog and over the past 14 years put a ton of work into bringing light to these issues and talking about these things that really matter. And yeah, she passed away suddenly last week and has left a huge void. So just wanted to say thank you, sis, for your work. And I pray that you have a safe journey home to the ancestors. And thank you for everything you did. And that's it.
All right.
Whew, Chile. That wraps up this week's episode of The Read. Check us out at thisistheread.com. We are on social media. Just search at This Is The Read. Also, don't forget to check out Who We Are, the powerful new podcast produced by Vox Creative that chronicles the history of racism in America, based on ACLU Deputy Legal Director Jeffrey Robinson's acclaimed work. Who We Are breaks down the origins and ongoing impact of white supremacy on our elections, healthcare, economy, and so much more. So listen and subscribe to Who We Are, a chronicle of racism in America, on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your favorite shows. I don't think I have any news this week. Anything for you, friend?
This week, my happy meal is 3 things that made me smile. 1, Kiki Palmer randomly tweeted, I don't remember exactly how it went, but it said essentially, I don't know who needs to hear this, but Sierra didn't pray for a man, she prayed for herself. And that just made me like open mouth cackle when I read it for some reason, because it was just so matter of fact and also true. So it was like,
I love that.
Something about the wording of it just was really funny. But again, I've been trying to tell y'all, like, we said what we wanted to about Russell Wilson, but don't see her look happy as shit. She probably has sex every single day. Also, quick spoiler for the last episode of The Boys. 3, 2, 1. Stormfront getting her ass beat by 3 different superpowered women at once. Stormfront, I know you don't watch The Boys, friend. She's literally a Nazi. Most racist bitch you could ever meet in your life.
Oh, Stormfront. I know that name.
She got the shit beat out. Like, they jumped her, called her all kinds of bitches and hoes, and beat her natural ass right on that second season finale. And it was so satisfying. I watched it 3 times in a row. Last but not least, the song You Sexy Thing by Hot Chocolate. Because
Why
I just
not?
realized that song has made me laugh since I was a baby. And I don't know why. I really can't even place. Just listen. Isn't that a funny song? It's just really absurd. But
Yeah,
like,
it is.
also a jam.
It's like funny voices, and then
Yes.
yeah, I see what you're getting at there.
It's very 70s funk.
Yes, that's what I get, like 70s and people just being free and goofy and sexually explicit with one another. So
it's a very funny song.
It is. I just thought about how Russell and Sierra had that baby named Win. And the Seahawks have done nothing but win this whole season. I'm just saying, they 4-0. I'm just saying. They had a baby named Win, and now this nigga can't lose. So,
yeah.
Congratulations again to them. They do seem really fucking happy.
All right. Well, the moral of the story is ain't nobody about to chase your ass down to do what you said that you were going to do.
And on that note, we will see y'all next week.